what's up guys? This is my 1 year review of having the Bustin hybrid version 3. I put up that other video because at the time there was no videos of the hybrid V3 or any of the hybrids really, so I kind of took a chance and I ordered one, and then after getting it I figured I'd help some people out and kind of talk about it, and it got quite a bit of views and some critiques, but I've never really reviewed anything before, so I'm kind of new to all this. But 1 year in, this board is sick. I would not get any other type of board, honestly. It's totally worth the money, especially right now. They're having a sale where I think they had a fire in one of their warehouses actually right before I ordered this, so it actually took a long time to get this. But now they offer this in a like a matte black finish, and it's like $800. This thing was like $1,200, so that sounds like a good deal, and it looks pretty sweet in all black. But it's kind of cool to customize your own and make it your own as well. And I said some critiques about it that I kind of mentioned before. The 100mm wheels is what you want. You can see here I have some of the other what are they, 90mm wheels. And you can see them in comparison. Oop. They're really not that different in size, but it makes a huge freaking difference riding on the streets. It just feels so much more cushiony with these bigger wheels. You don't feel a lot of the big cracks in the road and stuff like that. I would just opt for those. Maybe get a set of these if you know you're gonna go somewhere smooth, like a boardwalk or some kind of walking trail or something. Because I did like how low it sat with these wheels. I mean, it's not much of a difference, but when you look, that's decently lower, and the board just feels a lot more nimble with the smaller wheels. Not that it's bad like this, but I'm just trying to describe it for somebody that doesn't know. But I love the board. It's got 260 miles on it right now. I mean, pretty hard miles too, because I'm going, most around my neighborhood is all really steep hills. I'm talking steep. You can't ride a bike up these hills. You're walking, and when you walk it hurts. You almost have to walk backwards up it because your feet literally can't bend at that angle of the hills. And with a good run up, like, you could actually make it up some of these hills with this board. It's that powerful, but it'll slow down, and at 5-6 miles an hour, it just kind of feels like you're unnecessary making the board struggle. It's like, why not just get off and walk 50 feet to the crest of the hill and then save some battery, But the motors are definitely more powerful than my Meepo. Now that I've ridden it quite a bit, it's just like that initial torque, where this board will really catch you off guard, honestly. If you get on it and you kind of just hit the throttle without being prepared in mode 4, which is the highest, it could really take off. And like, you could almost fall. That's really the only time I've really almost fallen is when I'm screwing around. I'll throw it in the driveway, hop on it, I'm not on it like very secure, and I accidentally hit the throttle too much and do a huge split or something. But yeah, it's definitely more powerful. The top speeds seem similar, although this one seems pretty fast. I mean, 30 miles an hour. We live in New England, so it's just starting to get warm. I've taken this out probably a couple times already on some warm days, and I kind of have to relearn after winter because I'm going like 20 and I'm kind of getting nervous, where I was bombing some hills that, like, I think my GPS recorded me like 37 miles an hour. I can't even imagine doing that now, but I'm sure after a little while I'll probably work up the guts to get back there. But I recommend getting the black wheels. I love the way the clear wheels look, but as you can see, these are all clear wheels right here. The rear sleeves get so dirty. This is a new one, and that's an old one. I mean, still looks cool, but I mean that's freaking not clear. I really wish they would come out with colored sleeves and wheels. I mean, it would be sweet to have like bright green or bright orange or whatever. I'd probably buy every freaking color and change them, you know, every month or something. One thing I mentioned in my first review was saying that the wheels, the rear sleeves, were squeaking a lot, and some people were commenting and wondering about that because they were saying it's a deal breaker. And at first, it was so loud, it was almost a deal breaker. I was like, what did I just buy? Because it was that loud. And when I contacted Bustin, they were kind of giving me issues about it. It was right after their fire and their move, so I'm not going to blame them. But I watch videos of all their riders and they're riding these, and you don't hear this insanely loud squeak. I mean, it's literally like rubbing two rubber things together. It's like insanely loud. It wasn't even fun. But I contacted them, and after talking with them for a couple emails, they ended up sending me 2 new sleeves. Because I figured one might have been out of spec, or maybe one of my motors, the case is like out of spec or something. Because it seems to be only one side. And don't cut off this video and just decide now, because I changed to 100mm wheels by the time they sent me these, and it doesn't squeak. I notice sometimes when I'm really carving a lot, I mean, you'll get squeaking out of the bushings in the trucks and stuff. I put graphite in them to quiet it down, but I think that's pretty normal for most skateboards. But after carving a lot and really warming up the sleeves, I will still notice like it'll start to almost squeak. I put graphite powder like in the sleeve before I put it on. It's kind of a mess, but it's pretty quiet when you do that. And I mean, it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't really squeak. It's just after certain types of riding, it might start to squeak. And I'm not sure. It might be kind of this plate. I'm almost thinking maybe it's possibly this plate sandwiches the sleeve onto the wheel. So I'm thinking maybe there's a squeak somewhere in between this plate and the sleeve, the rubber sleeve. That's where you're hearing some noise, but it's not bad. It's not dead quiet like my Meepo, but those are different styles. These sleeves, I mean, it does make a little bit of noise sometimes, not all the time. Like, if I was to go out right now, it probably wouldn't even make any noise and I would have a blast. And maybe after a long ride and really carving hard, I think maybe it just kind of gets space in between that plate and the sleeve, and you get some touching there. Not sure, but either way, that's definitely not a deal breaker because this board is literally that good. Like, and it doesn't really make noise now that I have these wheels. But one thing I'll say about the sleeve, or the cap here that keeps this on, don't Loctite these these screws. I'm used to, because I run RCs and stuff like that, I'm used to Loctiting everything, because usually metal on metal, it's going to back out, especially under vibrating conditions. And something that keeps your wheel on, I was kind of like, yeah, I'm Loctiting these. Well, don't do it because they snap. The screws literally just snap. And I'm using blue Loctite. That's not that strong. But for some reason, when I tried taking them out again, a couple of them snapped in there. So, I mean, I have 3 actually broken on this one. Could be why it's making noise now, actually. Because at first it was making no noise. Now it's got like a slight squeak sometimes. And it might be because I'm missing half the freaking screws. But I could get those out. I just got to drill those bolts out and then get new screws. But don't Loctite those, and be careful, don't over tighten them. But and on another note, the bottom, I told people watch out because this board is really low, so I scraped it up. The first video I made, it was like a week after I got the freaking board, and I scraped it, so I was really bummed about that, especially because I paid to get the carbon fiber bottom. But I actually was putting Gorilla Tape down the sides here and across the front, and that helped protect it. And you could see some spots where I actually skimmed the duct tape and frayed the surface of the tape and saved my case, because believe it or not, the case, it didn't just scratch, it was like starting to take chunks out. So you could really damage this if you go off a big curb and not pop the board up enough or something. But I actually just painted it with like an oil-based Sharpie, and you could kind of see some paint marks. But then I put clear Gorilla Tape on it, and I don't know, I thought it would look cool because it looks pretty good like here, but around here it's kind of, it looks kind of chintzy. And I actually kind of like the black Gorilla Tape better, even though it covered up this awesome carbon fiber. But it's not a huge deal. Highly, highly recommend Bustin boards. This thing is so much fun. And the Chinese market is just, all these boards are just the same, just repetitive stuff. Like Meepo just came out with a new board. I looked at it for like 2 seconds. I was like, that's not even interesting whatsoever. I mean, look at that. Looks like a skateboard. This case was such a good design, and the Sportster deck is like a really popular regular skateboard, and now the hybrid Sportster is, oh, it's amazing. There's not really flex to it, but the shape of this thing is freaking mint. You just feel like you have so much control and you're like locked in on this thing. Some people say you don't get speed wobbles, but I actually felt like if you're kind of a novice rider, this thing kind of speed wobbled like a lot for me at first. So definitely tighten your trucks a little bit until you get the feel for it. And then once you're able to kind of go with the flow with loose ankles, because once that wobble starts, it just keeps getting worse, and I almost ate it a couple times when I first got it. Now I'm kind of used to it, and it's actually pretty stable, but it's hard to get all that your body weight over the front trucks because your feet are kind of behind the trucks. So if you want like a speed demon board or something, it's probably not the best setup. You know, you're gonna want some trucks that are underneath your feet. I think. I don't know. I'm not like a professional skateboarder. I kind of just started like 2 years ago, so. But it's kind of what I noticed, because I have a Meepo NLS Pro that you guys saw from my other video, and when your feet are definitely like positioned right here over the wheels, way more stable at high speeds. You feel like you could do easily 30 and not be sketchy. Where this thing, with sort of loose setup, not as confidence building, but it's kind of not made for that. It's definitely made up for more carving and really riding kind of like a snowboard, and it's awesome. Definitely purchase one if you're on the fence about it. Don't even be worried, just freaking go for it, because there's like a 2-month lead time for them to build them, which I really wish they would just dish out and get more employees or something, because you gotta pump these things out faster. Nobody wants to wait 2 months to get a skateboard. So hopefully they kind of resolve that. But I think the other companies still, you're ordering and it's coming from China, it still takes weeks. So definitely not worth saving time and going that route. I would just get your orders in and patiently wait, because you're gonna love it. Good board, good buy. Alright, I'll definitely get some riding videos soon. It's spring, it's still freaking cold here up in Connecticut, so I'm probably actually gonna go ride today. My buddy just texted me, so actually maybe I'll bring my GoPro, hook it up on my helmet, so maybe I'll get some footage of riding. So subscribe and look for videos coming soon. Alright, thanks.